Hey, how's everybody doing? I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. Mine was okay, not great. Today I'm just going to talk about some good and some bad albums from the year 2020, ones I liked, ones I didn't like. So, we're going to get that started now. I'm not going to talk about any of the albums that I already reviewed, like the Trivium album or the Testament album or the Enslaved album. These are all going to be brand new that I haven't touched before. Now the first one, which I want to get to, is Fate's Warning. I, Long Day, Good Night. Now this album kind of reminds me of the Queensryche Empire era. That they're about, it's a pretty long album. They're about 12 or 13 songs. Ray has some pretty good vibrato to his vocals. The guitar flows pretty good, but what's missing that Queensryche had is the twin guitar attack. So you know, that that wasn't there. So that docked a couple of points for this album. Nevertheless, it gets a 20 out of 30 from me. Now, the second album I want to talk about is Eternal Champion, Unraveling Iron. This one is is rather average to me. It's pretty much the same style of heavy metal as Fate's Warning, but the vocalist can't sing as well, and the songs sound kind of bland. Nothing that you haven't heard before. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just it's just kind of there. The vocals don't really have that many dynamics. The guitar and drums are mediocre, so I give this one about a 15 out of 30. Average. Now, now we get to some really great stuff. Dark Fortress, Spectres from the Old World. Whether you want to call this black metal or death metal, I don't care. To me, that this is a death metal album. This band is from Germany. They've been around for quite some time, since the early 2000s, I believe. The the the, the guitars sound. There's some very good riffs and soloing in between. But the guitars sound chaotic and evil, and so does the vocalist. But the album flows just so well. It's not stagnant. It flows, and there's so much emotion coming out of the vocalist. So highlights include the title tracks, "Spectres from the Old World," the also the "Deepest Kind," I think the name of the song is, and Pazuzu. Uh, some pretty good tracks, but each song is individual. They don't all sound the same like so many death metal albums do. Every track is an individual. So this is a great album. By far the best album I've heard this year. Dark Fortress gets a 28 out of 30 for Spectres of the Old World. So this is my album of the year, I guess. Now we have now another great album. Now we get into thrash metal that came out this year was Warbringer with Weapons of Tomorrow. this one is very aggressive. Especially the vocalist, man, is he able to scream and yell like you wouldn't believe. Songs like Crush Beneath the Tracks, awesome. There are a few slow spots here and there, but on the overall, it's great. And and the final track, the glorious end, he makes references to his father that wants him to succeed in battle. And that was a little bit emotional to me because I lost my father, so that one kind of hit me. Warbringer in general brings me back memories of older bands like Testament and Creator. Great thrash metal album. I give this one a 25 out of 30. Now we kind of have to go downhill. 6 Feet Under, Nightmares of the Decomposed. What a monotonous album this is. The band members can play it a little bit, but it's no Haunted, and Haunted wasn't that great of an album either. Their debut with Alan West, from Obituary. But this, let's put it in perspective. Chris Barnes used to sound like a low bear. Now he sounds like a bear with tonsillitis. Oh, okay, he needs to retire. There comes a time where you just have to hang him up. He just goes throughout the whole album like, that's basically about it. I guess there's some comedy points for songs like Dead Girls Don't Scream and Drink Blood, Get High, but at the same time they're kind of juvenile, comedic but juvenile. So when you consider all this, it gets a 7 out of 30, and it should be the worst album of the year, shouldn't it? I mean, I would think so. I thought it was going to be the worst album of 2020 until I listened to something else, and this something else, oh Lord. A little while ago, Jeremy, the drummer from the horrible band Five Finger Death Punch, left because of injury or something, and he became a cop, and he formed his own band called Psychosexual. And now this album is called Torch to Faith. Now, it doesn't sound like band members playing. It sounds like he went out and arrested a bunch of drunken nitwits, and instead of putting them in jail, said, hey, you're going to help me write an album. And the result was hideous and atrocious. Now, if I had to describe this music, I'd say it's a tad industrial. Now, I never cared for Marilyn Manson very much, but Psychosexual makes Marilyn Manson sound like Mozart or Bach by comparison. This band can't play. And the lyrics are so silly and so stupid, like let the sin begin and tie her up and whatever the hell he's saying, and the lyrics are very repetitive. It's like, if I can't have you, nobody can. Like, we never heard that line before in a song or in a movie, and he dresses up as the devil. Look, if you want to go listen to this album on YouTube, hey, I don't mind. But if you think of actually buying this, or you think that this is a great album, may I suggest one of two things? You can either go to the library and read a little bit about music theory, something which this doesn't have, or you can go to your psychiatrist and have him do a psych evaluation on you, and I don't mean asking you a bunch of questions. I mean where they open you up and take a look at your brain, whether it be by medical equipment or whether it be by a machete. I don't give a shit. Your brain is so warped, you are, and so fried out that I don't know how you're on the planet. If you can think that psychosexual torch to faith is bearable, not to mention good, oh my God. This may be the worst album, the worst metal album. It's an insult to call it that, but I will anyway. This may be the worst metal album I've heard in over 10 years. Seriously. And I'll give it a little bit of breathing room. You know, I'm giving this a 3 out of 30, mainly because they were able to get a deal. Okay? So, Torch to Faith is something that should be avoided at all cost, and check out Dark Fortress Spectres of the Old World. Because that's just killer and excellent. Well, you have a happy new year, everybody, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.